Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Nomar Garcia-Parra, and Oral Hershiser. Game one of the Fall Classic, anything but a classic for the Dodgers, and we wondered how they might look after not playing a baseball game for a week after they swept the Brewers in the NLCS. They did not look like the same team that we saw winning 9 out of 10 games to start this postseason. Blake Snell, Jerry, pitching for the first time in 11 days. He wasn't as sharp. On the other side, the Blue Jays did what they've continued to do this entire postseason, that swing the bats, and that 9-run 6th inning was the difference in the game.
I think collectively, this is the deepest lineup the Dodgers are going to face. These guys put the ball in play. They're relentless. They can hit the long ball, but they don't rely on the long ball. We saw it tonight. Dodgers, obviously, especially from the pitching standpoint, really didn't bring their A game. And on the hitting side, struck out 13 times to their 4. That has to change if we're going to win this series.
Yeah, I think this lineup, as you mentioned, it's also because it's hot right now. I mean, they're rolling right now. They have momentum coming in. You know, everyone is swinging the bat. They're feeding off the energy right now. As they said, it's the postseason. That's what they're doing. They're doing that really well. They didn't really chase. They put the ball in play, and they do have some thunder in those bats. They can drive it out of the ballpark. They showed it today. They've shown it throughout the postseason. So today just wasn't a fluke. This is what they've done. At the same time, when we look on the Dodgers side, yeah, Snell, he didn't look as sharp. You know, it wasn't there. He'll tell you that. But still managed to battle through, tried to give the team a chance to come back in this game, score some runs. I think there was an opportunity where the Dodgers had those bases loaded early in the game to really try to shift some momentum on their side, try to take some of the wind out of the sail of the Toronto Blue Jays, and they couldn't muster anything. I think that was kind of a big blow to the Dodgers, and the Toronto Blue Jays kind of rolled with that right after that. But you know, a lot of swings and misses. I mean, they did look off. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you're off, this is one of our fears. When you're off this long, it's really hard. It really is hard at the end of a season when you are sitting down for a week, when you're just running on adrenaline because you're already physically and mentally exhausted to try to get back up. Hopefully, this wakes them up.
Yeah.
We're going to break this game down throughout this show, and we're going to look at it. And the good thing is we're going to break down one game. And to quote the great Tommy Lasorda, if it was a one-game series, I'd be really sad. But it's not a one-game series. It's a 7-game series, and there's a lot of baseball to be played.
And it was a 2-2 game going into the bottom of that 6th inning. Oral Blake Snell, we talked about, he wasn't quite as sharp tonight. He begins the 6th inning, walk, single, hit by pitch. Then he comes out of the game. And this is where, if you're the Dodgers, you need someone at bullpen to help put out the fire, and they just weren't able to do it. Next thing you know, the Toronto Blue Jays put up 9 runs.
Yeah, it was worrisome from the beginning with Blake because he did not have his fastball command, and we talk about it so much. We can say that the changeup's elite. He's getting the swing and miss with the slider, the curveball he's landing, but everything comes off the fastball, because if you're locating the fastball, and especially for him, to the glove side, pounding it into righties. But when he went into righties early on, it was not there. It was in off the plate. It was up and lower in the middle. And when he did not have the rhythm with that pitch, it really affected everything. And I think by the time he got second time around with Toronto, they knew he didn't have the pinpoint control, and they started to get on it.
And we talked about the bullpen before the game. You know, obviously, you know, Vesia being out, he's a guy that you would probably put in with guys on traffic. You know, like, who are you going to go to just try to really minimize here and possibly find a way to get out or really minimize the amount of runs. Sheehan came in. A lot of his pitches were just over the middle of the plate. This is a team who's very patient, doesn't chase, and they can hit some hard stuff, and especially over the middle of the plate, and they took advantage of that. And it was talking about passing the baton. They were doing that in that inning. It was really contagious for one guy after the other. It was a quality at-bat after quality at-bat. And they ran with it.
And like Oral mentioned, this is just one game. And you know what? I almost prefer, if you're going to drop a game, I almost prefer them getting punched in the mouth like they did tonight. And I think hopefully this will wake them up, because it has been a long layoff. Now, hey, we're in a series. You know, if you're in a heavyweight fight, you get knocked to the ground. All right, let's see how we respond. I expect this Dodger team to respond in a big way tomorrow night.
You know, the good thing is you just have to split. You split over there in Toronto, you have home field advantage.
Yep.
Right. You know, I don't like the way the home field advantage plays out because of that. So, okay, you lose game 1, come back, win game 2, win it decisively, and all of a sudden now you have home field advantage. You get back to come.
And we
Dodger
predicted
Stadium.
they'd win in 6, so they have to lose another game for them, the Dodgers, to win in 6. Again, this is the World Series. It's amazing just hearing, you know, fans talk, and I know there's talking heads that really don't know a lot of baseball, oh, the Dodgers are going to roll. The Blue Jays are a very good team.
Yeah.
I mean, a very good team. So I'm so glad now the world has got a chance. Now, listen, the Dodgers respected the Blue Jays because they know their opponent. So the world got a chance to see there's a reason why the Blue Jays are representing the American League in the World Series. They put the ball in play, they swing the bats extremely well, and they can pitch a little bit. Now it's up to the Dodgers to respond.
Earl, seems like the only time as a starting pitcher you would ever have 11 days between starts is maybe if you're on the injured list or something's bothering you. But this was a time when Blake Snell, he's coming off one of his best outings of his career outside of his no-hitter in that last game against the Brewers, has 10 days off before his next start. And tonight, what did you see from him that just wasn't quite what we have seen in this postseason?
It just wasn't the rhythm that we were looking for from him and the execution, and it was early on. I mean, he got out of the first inning, but it was 20-some pitches, and it was not pinpoint. He actually was becoming the old Blake Snell, which is effectively wild, compared to the guy who is pitching and making pitches and executing and really blowing you up in a way that he has like a .6 ERA through the postseason. This was the Blake Snell that was struggling with rhythm but effectively wild and always competing. But Toronto caught up with him. There was not a lot of swing and miss in Blake's game, and that was the competition tonight. It was a swing and miss pitcher against a contact team, and he wasn't hitting his spots and getting the swing and miss.
Nomar, what did you see from Blake Snell tonight?
I just think the guys, Toronto were able to lay off pitches. They recognized early on that the fastball command wasn't quite there. An aggressive team that probably can look for fastballs, but when the fastball isn't a strike early on, now all of a sudden you're not 0-1, you're not 0-2. You can look in the zone early on. And if I get the fastball here, since he doesn't have his fastball command, oh, I can be aggressive in my zone. But if it's not there, I could wait. And since they were able to wait, or it was a ball, now all of a sudden it's 1-0, your mentality is a lot different. Then I can even start looking like, okay, fastball, I can look at my zone, but now I can even look at some of these off-speed pitches. I can look for the area of his off-speed pitch. If it starts up, if it starts falling in my zone, I can attack in the middle of the zone. Toronto Blue Jays were able to just wait for their pitch rather than have to go after his. Blake Snell's so good at making adjustments to see what they're trying to do to him, and he adjusts, but he's able to do that when he's ahead and going, okay, now I'm ahead, now what are you trying to do? Oh, now I see what you're doing. Now I can kind of a chess match and give you that counter maneuver. He wasn't able to get ahead, so he can wait for that counter maneuver. He was already behind and having to show his maneuver early on, and they were sitting and waiting and patient and took advantage.
That last pitch, that arm side fastball, obviously he wasn't trying to hit Varsho whatsoever. It got away from him. But early on, he had a hard time with that fastball command arm side. Usually gets that strike at the top of the zone to really set up his breaking ball and the changeup. Early on, he did not have that. Like Nomar was talking about, as a hitter, when you're not hitting that fastball, hitting your spots normally, you know, he didn't have his fastball command tonight. So you can kind of hunt certain pitches.